This winter, the UK has experienced some of the wettest and stormiest weather ever recorded. These floods and storms raise questions about whether or not they are linked to climate change. Climate change activists who claimed that global warming was responsible were soon joined in January by David Cameron.
I agree with my honourable friend that we are seeing more abnormal weather events. Now, colleagues across the House can argue about whether that is linked to climate change or not. I very much suspect that it is.
But the Prime Minister was corrected soon by a Met Office scientist who said that we were dealing with weather, not climate. Today, a more pertinent question has arisen. Why did the Met Office actually forecast a dry winter with below average precipitation? To answer this question, we need to recall the two very dry winters of 2011 and 2012.
The southeast of England is suffering a drought, and that is official.
The fear now, of course, is that this is the new norm, that these parts of England will just have to get used to living with drought.
Where I'm standing should be underwater.
Last year started with drought. Reservoir levels critically low.
Another 17 counties have been added to the official English drought zone.
2 years ago, the Met Office's chief scientist, Dame Julia Slingo, told MPs that climate change has led to the reduction of Arctic sea ice, contributing to dry winters and more droughts.
The depletion of ice, particularly in the Bering and Kara seas, can plausibly impact on our winter weather and lead to colder winters over northern Europe. Well, colder winters, yes, you do get less water because the precipitation will tend to come as snow, which has a much less water content, and colder air holds less water. It's quite simple. So, we are concerned that if we continue to have a sequence of cold winters, that could be much more damaging, even with wet summers going alongside them.
2 weeks ago, the Met Office published a report that looked into the link between flooding and climate change. It concluded that currently such a link cannot be established. In spite of the absence of any science to link the storms and floods to climate change, Professor Julia Slingo claimed that there was.
I think we've got a hydrologist, and I'll tell you what, he has been lost in the one-way system here because the roads are closed there and there and there. Mr. Hydrologist, Andrew Mackenzie, where are you?
Julia Slingo was joined by a few other scientists who were encouraged by a very excited media to speculate about these possible links.
So, as an academic, answer me the question which everybody keeps asking. Climate change?
Quite probably.
Quite probably. I like that answer.
Yesterday, the Met Office said that all the evidence points to climate change playing a huge role in this. And
First time they've said that.
It is, and it could just be the case that we see more and more of this as we head into the future.
However, these claims are not based on the Met Office report or any science, but are subjective judgments. It is true that this winter has been exceptionally wet for many parts of Britain. However, there is no evidence that there's a trend to increasing rainfall if we look at the historical record. What is more, the IPCC's report on extreme weather says that currently no link can be established between flooding and climate change at a global level. Climate scientists have always cautioned not to confuse weather with climate. The attempt to link this winter's bad weather to climate change shows that this principle has been abandoned, even by some senior scientists.
I am now standing on the front steps of my hotel. What you see in front of you, this raging torrent, was originally the main road from Minehead through Lynmouth to Linton.
We should remember that Britain has a long history of very variable weather and flooding, and that the Met Office has a very long history of failed seasonal forecasting. The failure to make reliable seasonal forecasts highlights the danger for environmental planning and making policies on the basis of computer modeling. The UK has always experienced flooding and storms over a long period of time, and it is only to be expected that such natural events will occur occasionally. The historical record of extreme weather events in Britain is a much better basis on which to rely when planning for the future compared to computer models that have failed to deliver. As the winter floods show, it is not so much the weather that caused this disaster, but the failure to prepare adequately for heavy rainfall. Bad weather is just bad weather. In wealthy countries like Britain, it is bad policies that turn bad weather into bad flooding.